Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to another edition of the RailCats Talk podcast. And they did it again. They won. That's 2 games in a row, and they beat the Sioux Fall Canaries series. They won the series. I should put it that way. They won the series. And looking for the sweep tomorrow. Another stellar game that ended within 3 hours. I think it was down to the point, and I think tonight was a better team beating a bad team. I don't think if this was the battle of if this was the RailCats that we saw at the beginning of the year. Heck, this series. I mean, yesterday was kind of a weird kind of. I mean, the one inning that John Sheeks had was bad. But that's the difference you're seeing in the RailCats versus in the beginning of the year was that if Cheeks would have had a net like that, they would have lost that game 5-0 or 5-1 or whatever. There would have been no desire to come back. And tonight, I mean, they trailed 1-0 off of a home run from a Valley in the first inning, but then Garcia shut them down, and then Phillips came in, got the save, but he shut them down. I mean, he gave up 1 run in the bottom of the seventh, but it's the positives that you're seeing from this team. Yes, the power is there. Marriaga got or a home run today, in his second game back. I let's just I'll go ahead and break the game down, and then I'll get into my thoughts a little bit after. I'll get into my thoughts after I break everything down. So the RailCats went down in, I guess Woodworth opened it up with a double in the first, but then Wells flew out, and then Lingual struck out. Cruz popped out. But then in the first inning, it was Ulrich who grounded out to Abbott. Martinez flew out to right, and then Lavilli first pitch he saw, he's like, all right, taking it. And he had a home run, and then Henry came in, hit a single, and then Quilly came in, he hit a single. But then Mekowitsky came in, Trey. I'm just going to call him Trey because I'm still don't understand his name. Is kind of confusing me. But Trey came in, and he struck out. So that was it scoring-wise all the way up until the third inning when Marriaga came up to bat, and he took a pitch, drove that thing. I mean, was it a high fly ball, one of those higher fly balls that, may have been out somewhere else, but that's beside the point. He hits a home run. He gets an RBI, and that just started. He had 3 RBIs tonight. I mean, he led the offense. Realistically, he had 3 RBIs, and with those 3 RBIs, that's all they would have needed. But he hit a home run, and then it was nothing from there. As Raven walked, and then Wells had a fielder's choice. He grounded back to the pitcher, and then the pitcher took it to second, which got Raven out. And then Woodworth grounded out to short. That was also another fielder's choice. And then Lingual came in and grounded out to third base. Then in the fourth inning, RailCats came up. Cruz was the first at bat. He flew out to center. Then Raskusin had a walk. Olin doubled, which led to Raskusin scoring. Abbott flew out to center. Then Marriaga came in, and he had so this was a weird one here. I thought he was gonna have I thought he was gonna have the second home run of the game back to back, or back to back at bats for him. The left fielder goes up, and the ball is like in his mid. And I'm watching on my phone because I'm a hockey guy too. So with the Avalanche and Tampa Bay playing for Stanley Cup Finals, I had that on the big TV and then on my phone. And then I also had the fiance with me, so I kept it kind of entertaining for her to watch hockey. She's more hockey related than baseball, so it was easier for me to just kind of watch it. But anyways, watching it on my phone, I couldn't really tell what happened. But I mean, realistically, the sun was giving a lot of people problems there in the first 3 innings. The left fielder didn't really, he really got a good read on it, but he ended up jumping up like halfway up the wall, had it in his mitt, but then he hit the wall and the ball came out. So it was kind of one of those, like, the commentators like, is he out safe? Don't really know. But he ended up being safe. So that led into a triple, which could have potentially been inside the home run, but it was a lot of confusion going on. So it was one of those that you just kind of take it for what it is. So that was his RBI. And then Raven came in and knocked him in with a single between third and shortstop. And then Wells came out and flew out to center field. But that was it for scoring for both teams. There until the 7th, when the Canaries gets on the board. Let's see, Ulrich singled, then Martinez singled on a hit and run. Then Lavilli came in and he grounded out to Woodworth, but that brought in Ulrich. That led them to their second run. They were done for the rest of the night. They didn't score. And then in the 9th inning, Olin was up. He walked. Abbott struck out. So in the course of that, Olin stole second, and then there was an error on the throw to second. And some people, watching the game, the commentators thought that Olin pushed the second baseman out of the way. It really didn't happen because Olin he slid in, watched the ball go past. The shortstop took forever to get up. So Olin got up and basically ran him over, but it wasn't like a run him over like he was trying to do it on purpose. He was looking back, watching the ball, and then the guy just didn't want to move out of the way. So it's not his fault. It's just guy needs to learn to get out of the way or move something. I mean, he went down to a knee, just kind of took him forever to get up. So that was what would put Olin at third, and then Marriaga came in and he sac flied out to right field. Then Raven came in, he popped out. So that was Marriaga's third RBI of the game. Aaron Phillips, it was kind of getting a little sketchy there in the 9th because he gets the first batter out, Christopher, and then he walks Altavilla, and then he walks him. Ulrich gets a single, and then thankfully, because it was a 2-2 count, I was getting a little kind of iffy there because one swing of the bat would have tied the game up at that point. Martinez grounded out to Raven. Well, hit a ball to Raven. Raven got a double play. Nice 5-4-3 double play to end the game. So that was beautiful on that portion of it. So looking at the stat lines for the RailCats pitching, Nick Garcia pitched 6 innings, had 8 hits, gave up 1 run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Aaron Phillips came in, pitched 3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, and 3 strikeouts. The losing pitcher for the Canaries was Neil Lang. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Looking at the batting line for the RailCats, Wells went 0 for 4, Woodworth went 1 for 4, Langlois went 1 for 4, Cruz went 0 for 4, Zach Racusin went 1 for 3 with 1 walk. Alec Olid had 1 hit on 3 at-bats, 2 runs, 1 RBI, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. Sam Abbott came in 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Jesus Marriaga had a solo home run there in the 3rd inning. He had 2 hits on 3 at-bats, 1 including the home run, 3 RBIs with 1 strikeout. Tom Walraven came in had 1 hit on 3 at-bats, 1 RBI, and 1 walk. And then looking at the Canaries here, Ulrich, 2 hits, 5 at-bats, 1 run. Martinez had 2 hits, 5 at-bats, 1 strikeout. Lavilli had 1 hit, 1 run at 3 at-bats with an RBI, and he was the one that hit the home run, so that's where that came from. And then Henry came in at 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Quilly came in with 2 hits, 4 at-bats, no strikeouts. Mikowaks, Trey, that guy, number 27, Trey, he had 1 hit, 3 strikeouts at 4 at-bats. Gata had 1 hit on 4 at bats with 1 strikeout. Christopher went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, and at Avillier, he had 1 hit, 3 at bats, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout as well. So I mean, when you look at the box score here, the Canaries out hit the RailCats pretty significantly, in the category of 11-6. But sometimes it's okay to give up hits if it doesn't cost you anything, and that's what it was. There was a lot of singles. You gave up the 1 home run, but there wasn't a lot of doubles. It was mostly singles. I think I count 1 double, 1 home run. So you gave up 1 extra base hit or 2 extra base hits. That's not going to kill you all the time. So giving up, 11 hits may not be a terrible thing all the time. Would you like to see those numbers go down? Yes, but you also had 11 strikeouts, so 1 strikeout to 11 hits. It kind of evened itself out, giving up 2 walks. But I mean, the RailCats, I think they did a very good job. I mean, they only struck out 6 times and walked 3 times. They did a good job of putting the ball in play. There wasn't a big strikeout that kind of it kind of deflated the team. So that's always a positive. If you see a team keep hitting the ball, if they're getting out, but they're hitting the ball, I think that's more a positive than a negative on that aspect of it as well. But so for people that don't know, let's just kind of go over the roster again real quick. That MJ Rookard obviously got the boot just because of you're bringing back Marriaga, who when we're still looking at the stats here. So real quick, at 10 games, KV Edwards is still above Tom Walraven, Javion Williams, Sam Abbott, and Zach Wells. That just kind of puts you in perspective. That kind of sucks. I'm not, Walraven's played 25 games and he's still batting a 189. Sam Abbott, you need to say, I'm just looking at the outfield portion of it. I know KV is more of an infielder because he could have been used for an outfielder. Zach Wells may have not been doing, but he's only had 13 games in, so it's one of those that he's been playing a consistent base and he's just now back. But the big thing is bringing in Marriaga, who now with 2 games is batting a 400, which I know that's inflated right now. I mean, it's just the rotation of what you have. It's kind of hard to keep putting in outfielders because of that issue. When you're looking at you're bringing in players, and I don't think that looking at it as maybe but it's still even at that, if you're looking between the 2 outfielders that you're going to get rid of, maybe Wells would have been the person, but it's kind of hard to though Marriaga, you couldn't just release him because he had a visa issue. That's kind of hard to put that on him. And then Zach Wells playing in the FCF, then he's coming in late. But still, even at that, he's had plenty more at bats than Rooker did. So I think Wells would have maybe been the guy in my eyes that might have been the boot out. But I mean that's not my decisions to make, and there's plenty of reasons for it. I'm just when I look at the outfielders here, the top fielders, okay, we'll keep Marriaga out of this, but Oled is batting at 230, and then you have to go all the way down to Javion Williams, who's batting a 188, and then it was Rookard, and then it was Wells. When you're looking at the batting averages, it's kind of hard for me to justify. Maybe at the time they were thinking, with Wells and blah, 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 this and that. I hate seeing Rookard go. I understand the meaning, the method behind everything. It's just some of this team is still, the Rakusin is the bottom of the tier of 2s. He's batting at 211. He's tied with Michael Cruz. At that portion of it, and then everyone else below that is below 200, obviously. But it's not my decision to make those kind of things, and the RailCats are winning, so I can't sit there and say the decision's a bad thing. You're gonna put an everyday player out there. If you feel more comfortable having an everyday player out there like Wells over Rookard. I know Rookard wasn't very a big person, but he had a lot of speed. So I mean, I get it. I understand behind that, but the part that still kicking me in the face here, so I don't quite understand it, is that Jackson Smith is batting at 289. Now he's only had 45 at bats, but Michael Cruz has 90 at bats and still batting at 211. And I just, Jackson Smith doesn't have any home runs, neither does Cruz. So I guess if you're finding power from your other players, and I still think Jackson Smith is a better defensive catcher, so I would like to see him more out there because he's almost batting at 300. So I just don't know why he's not in the lineup more on a more consistent basis. I don't know what it is, if it's something that Cruz has owned, but I just look at it and it's hard. I don't quite know what it is. Like I said, I think Cruz has gotten better behind the plate as far as throwing people out. I know he didn't throw anyone out today. I think he only had one opportunity, maybe two, but not every day are you going to get someone. But he's still having issues blocking, and I don't know if he just doesn't move or the way he's positioned, because when you see the difference with Smith is he's up more on his toes, and he's not like so far back, and Cruz kind of comes up a little bit, but nothing too major. He doesn't look like he moves very quick, and he expects the ball, like he's expecting the ball off of, how should I say? I understand that a pitcher and a catcher get the signs and this is your location, but it doesn't seem like he has the reactionary skills to always find the way the balls that are in the dirt. And I mean, sometimes it's trying to block the ball and he backhands it. That doesn't make any sense. When he always backhands when he shouldn't backhand, and then you don't backhand when you should backhand. That's beside the point here. That I know he's a big, powerful guy, but he doesn't have any home runs. So what is the difference? Me personally, you're gonna keep the offense going. I'll put Jackson Smith in because he's gonna at least get on base, and do something with it. But all in all, the the RailCats are one game from 500. Looking at the division standings here, they're now they're still a half game back from the King County Cougars, just because they still have to make up that day. But I mean, now you're on a 3-game winning streak, so that's always a positive. You win tomorrow, you're at 500, and that's where you want to kind of be. You would feel comfortable coming into the game at the 32 games in being 500 when you started out the year pretty poorly. So I know there's a testament coming up here. Looking forward, you still have to finish the game tomorrow at Sioux Falls, and then Fargo Moorhead comes in, and that's going to be a real testament right there. That's going to be a big, where are we at? Then King County comes in. That's a big, where are we? I mean, they're coming into the beef of this. Realistically, they don't really have a team that they are expected to beat until maybe Lake Country, and that's not until the 4th of July. I mean, you're finishing out the rest of June against Fargo, Moorhead, King County, Milwaukee. You'll see Chicago, and then you see Kansas City again. Lake Country, I mean, that's realistically, but then outside of that, you don't face the bottom of the East Division, Cleburne, until July 19th. So I mean, Winnipeg, yeah, but this is gonna be a tough part of the schedule coming up after this last game against Sioux Falls. This is what this team is what we're gonna find out from this. If they can come out of this little stint here after Sioux Falls, I would say from Sioux Falls down to Kansas City down at Legends Field, if they can either be at 5 or a couple games above 500 in that little stint, if you'll still maybe be at 500, but you're still going to compete with some of these teams that you need to jump over, like the King Counties and the Milwaukees. Like if you can maybe get a couple series wins here or there, or you get a hot spell going somewhere, you have a good chance. Then you're basically halfway through the season at that point, and then you just kind of have to battle it out. I want to see this team at or above 500 before the All-Star break. But this is a tough testament coming up to this team, and I think they'll be able to pull something out of it. Yeah, there may be a couple heartbreakers here or there. There may be a series you lose, but you want to make it competitive, and that's what we want to see. I mean, looking at this team realistically, you look at the team last year and you look at the team this year, it's completely different, but you have some of the same pieces. You have your core pieces that you're still going to build around, that hopefully don't go anywhere, but you never know. I mean, we'll find out, but that's a testament, and you're seeing the fight and the will, and that's just going to lead into the next years and years and years. So this is the program that's going to be built. Is what is Lamar Rogers' team going to look like? It's going to be a team that's going to be built to not necessarily win. They're not going to. I don't think this is going to be a Lamar Rogers team that's going to dominate year in and year out. I think it's going to be a team or teams that are going to be competitive, right? So they may have dominant games, but they may blow games. But it's the games where they're coming from behind and coming back and winning and never giving up in those late innings. That's the team that we're going to see. They're not going to be teams that are just going to, coming in, that the RailCats are just going to dominate the crap out of this team or dominate the crap out of the league. I don't think you're going to get that. I think you're going to get a good team that can drive through adversity, right? There's a team that builds together, drives together, and goes together. Like, that's just what this team is going to be. But I hope you enjoyed the broadcast, or I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I know I enjoyed the results of the game. It was another good game. From the RailCats beating the Sioux Falls Canaries 5-2. They don't see them until I think August. Yeah, they don't see them again until August 5th at the Steel Yard. But good game overall. I'm happy to get another win out of this, winning another series. Hopefully get the sweep tomorrow. Going into what the next couple weeks are going to look like, or next couple days, with it being a 12:05 game. I do work, so I won't be able to do a podcast after that game. Friday, I am going to dinner with my father for Father's Day because I'm working on Sunday night. So I may do something a little bit, maybe just break it down, some sort of it. Since it is a 6:45 game, or eating dinner around 6, just depending on what we're gonna do. Maybe I'll do something little there. And then I do work the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday I won't have a podcast. And then Tuesday will probably be the next day that I will have a podcast out. Then looking into the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, or yeah, my bad. 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. They do not play on that Monday on the 27th, so that's not going to be a concern. But I'm going to Seattle for my second bachelor party with my best man out there. So I will not be anywhere in the realm of, maybe I'll still tweet something or Facebook something, but there'll be no podcast until then. So I know it's one of those, it's a tricky in and out, that kind of stuff. That's the one thing that sucks about working in retail sometimes, is I don't have a set schedule, so it's kind of hard for me to do some certain things. But that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm your host, Kostvej. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Be sure to like the podcast, comment, all that. I try to get back to comments all the time. Share with your friends if you want to enjoy it. If you enjoy it and they think that they might enjoy it, just to kind of keep up with it. This podcast is for people who don't always catch the game, don't know when they're on, but they can kind of get a glimpse of what goes on in the game as well. If that's all you care about, if you care about the recap, or you care about my opinions, whatever it is, just be sure to put leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But that's gonna do it for me, and go Cats.